They are. We have a number 6 on the basilar membrane, a number 5 on the beginnings of the cochlear nerve, and a number 3 on the scala tympani.
You said none was the cochlear nerve.
It has a number 25 out here, I guess. Yeah.
Would you show that on the larger ear model for the test, or
All of this in here, oh, you mean the nerve?
the cochlear?
The nerve shows up really well here. It's a really great place to ask you for it,
Okay,
okay? Because it really shows up nicely. It's pretty indistinguishable.
gotcha.
Okay?
Just outside of here.
So,
So the cells, inner hair cells, and then this is the stereos.
yes, all the hair cells,
These are the cells.
all of the hair cells possess stereocilia. The row of outer 3 are, there's a distinction there because if you were to very carefully read about how this thing works, the outer hair cells are more about fine-tuning noise than they are about actually receiving noise. This is just something to tuck away. The outer hair cells actually aren't the primary cells that are detecting noise. They are instead really more fine-tuning the apparatus. It's the inner cells that are your cells that detect noise. And that's why there's a distinct distinction between the two. Okay? What I've heard is if you go to a loud concert, not only do you alter some things in the middle ear, but you begin to affect these stereocilia, and they eventually can get damaged. All right, last thing then,
Wait, so the basilar membrane,
basilar membrane.
you get pressure in it and it causes deformation of,
Pressure waves in here, as a result of vibration of the stapes,
right, oh,
causes this membrane to deform.
okay,
Okay? If this area of the membrane is tuned to that particular frequency.
okay,
And by deforming this membrane, the stereocilia move.
okay,
The stereocilia move, which opens their gates, which causes them to depolarize.
okay.
All right. The last model is real simple, real straightforward. You heard about it already. We're going to find 4 tongue papillae on this model. Yeah,
I had a question.
sure.
It, on the pink sheet, it says cochlear, and then it also says vestibulocochlear. And because this would be the best place to show it, would
Yeah.
you say, like, they're both nerves, but would you specify, or would you just pick one or the other?
It's probably being extraordinarily picky on the pink sheet. I think you can see that this portion of the nerve comes from the cochlea exclusively. It's the cochlear portion. We also have the cochlear portion here as well.
Okay.
And I think that's why it's on the sheet. Okay. So if you go home and look in the mirror, stick out your tongue, you're going to see that there are little bumps on the tongue. Some of them are kind of sharp, not really, but they're very pointy. And some of them are a bit more roundish. And if you really look in the back of the tongue, you're going to see some that are really quite large. The majority of the tongue is covered with a type of papilla that is called the filiform papilla. It is primarily a papilla that allows you to manipulate food in your mouth so that you can push it to where the teeth are so that you can chew. It covers the majority of the tongue. Number 4 on this model is showing you what filiform papillae look like on the tongue. They're short, they're pointy. On the anterior and upper surfaces of the tongue, they're also more of a roundish type. I tend to look at these as the little white mushrooms caps that I see in the grocery store. You've seen the little white mushrooms. They're round, they're button-like, and when you look at this model, you're going to see these round, button-like papillae. These are called the fungiform papillae. Why call them fungiform?
Because they're like little
Because
mushrooms.
mushrooms are fungi. Taste buds are born on these. Taste buds are not on the filiforms. They are on the fungiforms. The fungiforms create a lateral surface where the buds can live. You see, if we put the buds on the top surface of the tongue, they get destroyed daily. As by the way, if we had lectured on it, you would have found that the buds are constantly being renewed because they're always being destroyed. I drink hot tea, I destroy some buds. Okay?
Is that why you can you can acquire a taste for things?
I have a feeling that is more cerebral. Okay, acquiring a taste. You hated mushrooms when you were a kid, now you love them. I think that's more cerebral,
Like
I
a
think.
maturing,
I don't know what it is.
like appreciation for something.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So far we have filiform, fungiform. And then on the posterior surface of the tongue, we see a row, a V-shaped row of fairly large papillae. These are called the valate or circumvallate papillae, and they bear lots of buds. On this model, they have a number 5 on them. The fungiforms have a number 3. When you go home, shift your tongue laterally so that you can see one of its sides. You will see some folds that look, if you know your cerebellum, they look like the surface of the cerebellum, very folded, very wrinkled. These are called the foliate papillae. The foliate papillae. They bear taste buds.
And they're found only on the
Lateral side, lateral tongue.
side.
Lateral tongue. Lateral sides is an oxymoron. Lateral tongue. Only you get
Is
it.
it an oxymoron or is it redundant?
Well, if it's lateral, it's also on the side. I guess it is redundant and maybe not. Maybe, well, we'll debate that later.
You stand corrected.
Yes.
What
This
number
is
is
why
that?
you're his favorite.
Right?
Yes. He's really a challenge, this guy. What else?
What number is that?
It's either rubbed off or they didn't number it.
Okay.
It's not in the book. Just saying.
That's value added.
Yeah.
This last thing is on your list. It's called the epiglottis. It's on your list because there are actually buds on that too. And that's way down in the swallowing area. So you're really able to taste food. Taste now, 5 flavors only. Starting at the beginning of the mouth all the way back to swallowing. There are no buds in the esophagus as far as I know. The next stop for food after the epiglottis is the esophagus. This is not the esophagus, by the way. This is the glottis, is the opening into the air passage. The
Is that the
esophagus,
epiglottis?
this is the
Oh,
epiglottis.
that's not.
Next semester, you find out when you swallow, this larynx will rise and the epiglottis will fall. And so this hole will be covered over by the epiglottis so that food moves over it into the esophagus, which is right behind.
And that's when, if it gets in there, people say wrong hole.
Right, yes. Even if they didn't have A and P, the wrong hole, right. So the epiglottis, for the purpose of taste, does have taste buds on it. Taste buds are all through the mouth. They tend to be more on the tongue, everywhere else. A good start, okay?
The only thing that doesn't have taste buds is the filiform.
Yes, the filiform papillae do not bear buds. They are there for a different purpose. I would imagine that filiforms are modified on cats' tongues so that they can groom. Humans don't groom that way, I don't think.
We hope not.
Okay, that's all I got for you.